As Sir John Major returns to the campaign battlefield, the curious story of the Tory party chairman Grant Shapps and his strenuous denial of being an online sock puppet.
More heartfelt still were Major's reasons for being a Conservative. Words absent from the speech put out by Tory HQ, and words Cameron couldn't have said himself.
My family had nothing. So ask yourself this question: why would I give my lifetime's work to a party that didn't care and didn't help people in need? I gave my lifetime's work to the Conservative Party because I know them from the inside, and they do care and they do help. They may not wear their heart on their sleeve, but it beats just as strongly to help people as the heart in any other political party in this country or anywhere in the world.
John Major was quickly whisked away from Solihull without meeting any members of the public. South East is medieval Warwick, a close marginal seat held by the Conservatives.
I'm not one of these Bullington boys, you know. Anyone got a £50 note? £50 note and Bullington boys and set fire to it in front of the homeless?
The Bullingdon was the Oxford dining club to which David Cameron belonged. But many Tory activists felt it was the boy from Brixton today who landed more punches and wished he could fight for the rest of the campaign.
Well, Sir John Major wasn't the only Tory to make an impact on the election campaign today. There's been a strange new tale about the Conservative co-chairman Grant Shapps, a sock puppet at his Wikipedia site. Michael Crick joins us live now from blossom-strewn Warwick.
Well, this is a complicated story. Essentially, Wikipedia, an administrator, has blocked a contributor called ContribSX. They say it's likely that ContribSX is either Grant Shapps or an associate of Grant Shapps. An investigation carried out by the administrator has found that ContribSX has been editing quite heavily Grant Shapps' own website and the websites of various Conservative colleagues, people like Justin Greening, Damien Green, Philip Hammond and so on, in subtle, small ways but unfavourable ways to them. Now, Grant Shapps denies vehemently that this was him or that it was any associate of him or that he knew about it. The Conservative Party say this story is wholly untrue and defamatory and a smear by The Guardian.
Wikipedia, one of the biggest sites on the web. Its English language version alone has almost 5 million articles. What's different is the pages are updated by an army of volunteers, 70,000 editors, anyone, in theory, who wants to take part. The tricky part for Grant Shapps is one of the site's administrators thinks one of the editors might be Shapps himself, making favourable changes to his own page and less than flattering tweaks to some of his colleagues. The administrator in question can't confirm it is Shapps' account, but he believes it is a so-called sock puppet. For the uninitiated, a false identity used for deception, and a sock puppet of an account that has been linked to Mr. Shapps. For the time being, the author of the changes, whoever they are, has been blocked.
Interestingly tonight, though, the leader of the Lib Dem election campaign, Paddy Ashdown, has issued a press release coming to Grant Shapps' aid, seemingly, saying Grant Shapps has never done anything dodgy, and that if you've met him like I have, says Paddy Ashdown, you have been touched by greatness. He is, says Ashdown, quite simply a colossus. And then at the bottom of the press release it adds, this press release has been edited by Contrib SX. Now, that's really Grant Shapps' problem, that with this, which story he denies, and other internet activities in the past, such as the story we did about how there were testimonials from people on his business websites from people who didn't seem to exist, he's becoming increasingly a joke in political circles. And I can't imagine that some of the people, some of the colleagues whose websites were edited by ContribSX are very pleased either, even though Grant Shapps vehemently denies that it was him.
Asks more questions than it solves, doesn't it, this whole thing? How are you making sense of it tonight?
It does, in a sense. And whoever ContribSX is, the Wikipedia account that was being used to make these changes, it's, in a sense, yet another curious tweak in this rather curious saga that's been going on for a long, long time, because of course Grant Shapps has been accused of various different things. He ran a business under a pseudonym, Michael Green. He got into a bit of trouble about whether or not he carried on doing that while he was still an MP, and he tweaked his own version of events a little bit when he sort of said he denied a bit too firmly at what point he'd finished it actually having that business. Similarly, he'd been accused before of editing some of his own Wikipedia pages. I think this time, look, it's very hard to substantiate exactly what has happened here. We do know that Wikipedia would have done two things. They would have looked at the pattern of behavior at this editing. We know that they looked at that. And they also would have looked at the location, the IP address of where the computer that was doing this work was based. What we also know tonight, in the last half hour, a source close to Grant Shapps has told me they are now considering making a complaint against the Guardian newspaper, which first reported this story. And they also say they can prove on 4 occasions when it's claimed he might have made these edits, he was otherwise engaged. They say on one of them, he was at synagogue on Yom Kippur. Another, he was watching his son play football. Another, he was at an away day with the Conservative Party. So he had a witness of more than 300 Conservative MPs. All of that said, all of these confusing little details, when you put this all together, Grant Shapps is the chairman of the Conservative Party election campaign. We're 16 days out from an election. This is a distraction that they just could do without. He is vehemently denying it tonight, but they could just do without this kind of headache at this crucial stage when the polls are locked so tight and everybody is searching desperately for something to help them break through.
Well, staff at Linton Crosby's consultancy firm Crosby Textor appear keen his controversial tactics aren't too public. An investigation by Channel 4 News has found that some staff at the company have been permanently banned from editing Wikipedia after deleting controversial information about Linton Crosby. They removed Lib Dem calls for the Tories to sack him over his company's work with the tobacco industry, and an entire section on how he would seek to divide opponents by introducing a controversial social issue to the campaign also disappeared. A Wikipedia review found that those responsible had engaged in edit wars to reverse changes made by administrators and were operating from 2 different continents. Crosby Textor today told Channel 4 News it's hardly surprising that any individual or company would want to correct inaccuracies and falsehoods on its Wikipedia page. Indeed, Channel 4 News appears to have a team of editors making hundreds of corrections and alterations to its Wikipedia page. Well, for the record, we've made 11 minor alterations since 2008, all related to staff changes. If you'd like to read more on the Wiki Wars, you can go to our website, channel4.com/news.
What's going on, guys? I'm Abby Martin, and this is Breaking the Set. So here's some interesting news coming out of 10 Downing Street. British Prime Minister David Cameron's taking heavy criticism after the purging of a decade's worth of speeches and videos from the Conservative Party's website. That's right, it seems there's a wave of historical revisionism sweeping Cameron's government. After all, it's hard to prove that you haven't lived up to any of your initial promises if they're completely expunged from the public record. Now, of course, party members are defending the move, saying that purging the content is a campaign strategy aimed at replacing old messages with new ones. But Cameron's former speechwriter, Ian Burrell, disagrees that this is just a campaign strategy, adding that, quote, the use of sophisticated software to ensure search engines do not stumble upon these archives slightly, just slightly undermines this claim. You see, as it turns out, the party went as far as instructing websites such as an Internet Archive and Google to fully remove deleted pages from their databases, pages that these websites often keep for posterity. Usually, we have to wait until politicians die to have their history revised. But now it looks like if you have the money and if you have the power, it's as easy as getting a divorce from the royal family.